or calm the troubled sea. But I know a man who can. I can't cause blind eyes to open or make the lame walk again, but I know a man who can. Some call him Savior, the Redeemer of all men. I call him Jesus, for he's my dearest friend. If you feel no one can help you and your life is out of hand, I know a man who can. Yes, I know a man who can. Who can.
God has blessed this little old church in the country with some amazing and incredible talent. My goodness. They just keep growing up. I mean, we keep getting new ones, and boy, that's just pretty awesome. Y'all give me just a minute here so I can kind of set this up. Well, I mentioned this morning that we might just get lucky and have a couple of special guests come and be a part. And you know, what we do here is kind of simple. We want to always share God's message and basically teach folks how to live a good Christian life, how to lead people to Christ, how to be that light in a dark world, and just have some real simple life's lessons. And I'm very thankful tonight that we got a couple of special, heavy on the special guests that are here to join us tonight. Gentlemen, y'all back there? This here is Bubba and Fred. Oh, wait, I forgot to move my...
Well, Bubba, I reckon you know what this here Tuesday is.
Yeah, I reckon so. It's Black Tuesday.
Black Tuesday? What in tarnation you mean by Black Tuesday?
I mean, I better spend more money than I did on Black Friday, or else I'm going to end up with a black eye.
Yeah, well, that is one feisty woman you're married to.
Yeah, I reckon so.
King me.
Dagnabbit, Fred, you got me all off topic thinking about Black Tuesday, and then you go jumping around and swamping me.
You gotta be able to multitask. That's what the preacher has been yammering about.
What in the name of beans and taters are you talking about?
You know, Bubba, how we need to multitask. We need to love God with everything we have, and we need to love our women folk, our children, and our family, and as much as we love our own selves.
Well, I reckon so. But I hope you love me after this here move. I win.
Well, I'll be a skinned out polecat. You was just playing possum.
I reckon so. Oh, and by the way, don't forget, we gotta love our mamas too.
Yep, I got something right here.
Me too. I'm gonna give my mama my heart, because I'm just sweet like that.
Sure, I'm glad to have them two gentlemen with us. I know they're getting a little old, a little feeble, but hopefully from time to time they will come back and join us again. So if you have your Bible with you tonight, if you would, I want you to turn to the book of John, chapter 15. The book of John, chapter 15. This here Black Tuesday that Bubba was talking about is coming up on us real quick. Now, I don't know if y'all remember back in the day when you're around school and school children, this gets to be a real interesting day. We basically get them wired up on chocolate from about 8 o'clock till about 3:10, and they're sugared up and hyped up like Coach Robinson on Skittles and Pepsi. And then we send them out the door and put them on big yellow buses and ask them to be still long enough to get them home. And goodness gracious, it is just something. But that's all right. John chapter 15, verse 9. Just follow along there with me. It says, "The Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. If you keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." Brother Chuck, would you bless this scripture and word of prayer for me, please, sir? Amen. You know, flowers and candy and them cardboard cutout paper hearts and romance, swoons of a young man who's fallen smitten with a young lady. I don't know if y'all realize this, but that's really not what Valentine's Day was all about. Valentine's Day actually in its origin is actually kind of not romantic at all, so to speak, in the traditional way. Way on back yonder, we can find Saint Valentine. Now, Mr. Valentine was a Roman priest during the Roman Empire. We're talking about 260 AD. So we're going back a day. And the emperor at that time in his area was a young man named Claudius II. Now, Claudius II had come up with this theory that young men who do not get married will fight in battle better than married young men. Because married young men will be afraid that if they die, what will happen to their wives and their family. And so he comes up with this idea and he creates this edict. That's an order. That's something that the emperor decrees, and you've got to follow this. And so his order was that from this point forward, there will be no more marriage. We're not going to marry any more young couples. Period. It's done. Now, Valentine, he just had a problem with that. He really just didn't agree. In a time when people really weren't all that faithful anyway, he was trying to get people to understand a really simple message. One man, watch this, and one woman. Anybody misunderstand that? One man and one woman together equals one marriage, which equals one man and wife for life. And that was the original purpose. For this cause a man shall leave his mother and father and take unto himself a woman, and they together, they twain, they will become one. For better, for worse, for richer or poorer, for sickness and health, till death do you part. And Valentine really understood that that's what needed to be taught to young people. And he didn't agree with the emperor. So he went around and snuck around and continued to do marriages, so that these young people would be tied together in the eyes of God in the most righteous of ways. Now, eventually, a problem came up. Valentine got caught. And when he got caught, they took him and they shackled him up and they put him in jail. And they set about a process for him to be judged. And these judges would decide an order of what would be his punishment. Now, one of those judges was a man named Asterius. And Asterius had a daughter who was blind. And Asterius, in his heart, began to believe in what Valentine was saying, in what Valentine believed. And what Valentine believed, not just about marriage, but what he said about God as a whole. And he brought his daughter to see him. Now, she must have been a pretty little old thing. And Valentine became a little smitten with her. But that wasn't what he was there to do. What Asterius wanted him to do was to pray for his daughter. Now, the story goes that his daughter received her sight. She was no longer blind. And this miracle that took place led this Roman judge, a non-Christian man, to be saved. And Valentine, through all of this process, grew deeper and deeper in love with Asterius' daughter. But now the judges met, and the decision was made. And in the decision, it was decreed that Valentine would face a 3-part execution. The first thing that would be done was he would be beaten. The second thing that would be done was he would be stoned. And the last thing that would be done, he would be publicly beheaded. Now, Valentine would have been given the opportunity to get out of such an atrocious public death. All he had to do was change. All he had to do was deny. All he had to do was say, everything that I have said so far is wrong. And everything that the emperor says is right. What do you figure Valentine decided to do? He said, nah. I don't know exactly how he said it, but my head tonight, after listening to them two old boys, he said, nah, boys, I just don't reckon I can do that right there. I'm going to have to keep saying that God is God, and that Christ is Christ, and that what I have said is true, and that is that. Whatever it takes, I'll just face whatever comes. And just before his death, he penned a note. And on that note, he wrote a little letter to Asterius' daughter. And the signature was simple. From your Valentine. There's the history, in a nutshell, of St. Valentine's Day. But it's important to understand what he was saying. It's important to understand that St. Valentine in his story is simply showing us something. That there comes a point in our life where we have to be willing to love in a way, to believe in a way, with all of our heart, with all of our mind, with all of our soul, that we would literally give everything we have, our life, physically, but not just physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, that we would literally lay down all the selfish things in us in order to further the kingdom and the word of Christ. Literally, what I'm saying is there comes a point where we need to surrender all and give everything over to Him and believe to that point. Now, the truth is this. I've seen a lot of pretty balloons. Every year the juniors sell balloons. Every year outside the old what we call the junior high office, used to be the old high school office there in the round building. That big window there is just plastered with balloons. All kinds of balloons. We got heart balloons, monkey balloons, puppy balloons, every kind of sweet candy balloon. We've got them all. And then we sell little latex balloons. We sell little valograms, little heart-shaped cut out piece of cardboard. Got a little candy kiss right there in the middle of it. And we deliver these things, and man, I'm telling you, I've seen bouquets from this size to this size come walking through them doors because some old knot-headed boy just was smitten with some old slick-haired girl. Thought she just had the prettiest eyes and the sweetest lips and the shine about her. And he'll spend every nickel he has to make it the perfect Valentine. But the truth is this. The greatest Valentine I've ever seen, the greatest Valentine I've ever known, was never written on a little card. It was never written or seen in a little cardboard heart. It was never found in the biggest box of chocolates I have ever come across. And if you go down to the Walmart store, you can buy some chocolates. Now, they sell them in a 50-pound box. That thing be that big, about that tall. You can eat on it from now till next Valentine's Day. And I've never seen it in the bottom of the prettiest vase with the biggest bouquet of flowers. The greatest Valentine ever given was on a cross. And the inscription was simple. I love you so much that I've given my son for you. And if you'll just believe in Him, I'm going to save you. And it was signed simply, love God. That's the truest form of Valentine's Day that anyone could ever be reminded of. That for God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on Him should not perish, but have everlasting life. If you don't know Jesus, there's going to come a point where His Spirit is going to call on you. He's going to knock on that old heart's door. He's going to whisper in that mind's ear. He's going to tell you to come to me. And you get the opportunity to say yes or no. If you're a Christian and you forget from time to time and day to day what the greatest Valentine ever was, well, hopefully this will share as a reminder and you can fall in love with Jesus all over again. Fall in love with your spouse all over again. Fall in love with your kids all over again. Fall in love with your parents all over again. Look, I know parents sometimes it's not that easy. Isn't that right, Jacob? Fall in love with your family all over again. Fall in love with your neighbors all over again and love them. Love them the way that you love yourself. Love them the way that Christ loves you. And love one another and be willing to sacrifice your own self to help someone else and to help them see the light of this world.